All right, man, our next project here at the cab is this deck. Pretty weathered out. Some of the wood's got to be replaced. These rails look pretty bad, right? Pretty dry, it's all cracked. I mean, I could paint it, but I don't know. And we're going to sand most of the bottom. Kind of bummed out because they use nails on the floor, so it's a little bit harder to replace the deck. So we are going to try to finish. I'm going to try to sand that and put a semi stain on it, like the kind that's like half stain, half paint. We're going to do that, and then I think the top boards we're going to replace. So a little bit of work. We got some sanding to do. Hopefully by the time we get out of here this weekend, we'll have a deck that looks a little bit better than it did before. So I know a lot of people like to bury them in deep, but I don't. That way later on, if you have to put a little bit more screw into it, you can, go down a little bit more, if it hogs out, but that's how I like it. So we got a lot of this side done yesterday. A couple things that really made this really sturdy. Like this thing's a rock now. And if you look at this one, right? One of the things we did, and maybe people don't like it aesthetically, but we added these little these little blocks on the bottom of the corner. You don't need to do that. What is nice about that though, is if somebody steps on this, right, or anything like that, the board doesn't twist, it doesn't do anything. I mean, it's rock solid, right? So that helps out, and that makes it a lot more sturdy, and you can hit it from the bottom side with the screws. So this side is completely done. Well, not really, I still got to do this. But here's another problem I ran into, and this is common with people that are rebuilding decks, and that is you take apart steps and you notice that a lot of it is torn out, right? So you have a choice to either rebuild this entire thing right here, the bracing, or get something going. So I think what I'm going to do, because wood's so expensive right now and I just have all these scrap pieces, I think I'm just going to do this and then side hit it and then hit it up there. And then when I put the top on it, on the outside though, it's going to look kind of squirrely because you're going to have that gap right there. So I'll probably have to figure out something with that if I care. But I think that's what we're going to do. And it should at least make it a lot more secure. I'm going to start sanding the bottom of this. And I started doing it last week. This feels so much better when you put a light sand on the rails, just like your hand, no splinters. So I'm going to lightly sand everything real light, kind of go everything real light. We talked about it before. Rounding these edges on the steps is such a big thing to do, especially on the treated, because they have a tendency to like break, where the clamping marks are, whatever those things are. So do yourself a favor and round the edges on that. It'll also keep people from tripping. This was kind of a downer that this decking was put in with nails. Don't put things in with nails because they pull out, and if this was screws, I just would have replaced it, but because it's nails, it's hard. So we're going to keep the bottom. I'm going to sand it the best I can, and then we're going to paint it. We're going to paint all this stuff. We're hoping by the time this weekend's over that our deck, we already rebuilt all the rails, right? So we're hoping that by the end of this weekend, deck's done. Deck's done. That's our last major project until we're going to do an overhang later, but for right now, the deck is the big thing. But it's definitely rock solid before it was moving around. So we did get that all squared up. So let's get to sanding a little bit, smooth it out, and start staining the outside. So on a deck like this, it's so old, like the wood's so old, and it's gonna have a patina look to it. I think that's the word. But it's a little bit darker stain, so I'm not too concerned about it. But all I want to do is make it so when I run my hand on it, it's smooth. I'm trying to take that darker paint. If you look over here, there's some darker paint. I just want to scuff the top of that. You're not going to renew this wood. I'm sure some people would say, yeah, you got to put cleaner on it, all that stuff. I'm not too concerned on that, just because the stuff we did out in the back turned out really good with this color that we're using, which almost looks like the color of the treated wood. So all I'm doing, I want to smooth it out. We'll wipe it down to make sure it's clean. We're not going to overthink it, and then we're going to stain it. I know some people say you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to power wash, all that. Nope. We're doing a light sand, and we're going for it. We are done with our deck. We'll get to that. I'll show you that. I want to show you this. I think I mentioned this before. If you've watched some of our older videos, we did, they have some rules here. You're not supposed to really pour concrete, or you're not supposed to, everything has to be something you could take out of here, right? Where we're at. So we put pavers down, and I found a bunch of stuff, which is one of my funner projects, finding a bunch of natural stones, rocks, you know, pieces of bark, all that stuff from around the area. So it looks real native to this lake, right? Or where we're at. So, it definitely is something fun putting it all together. One thing though, is this is rattlesnake country. So definitely got to make sure we don't have a bunch of holes for rattlesnakes. So we filled in the gaps with the pebbles. You know, the box stores sell the small pebbles, and actually made the whole thing look better. Made it look like a lot more natural. But one thing we're going to do now that we have the pebbles in place, is we are going to use this Snake B Gon. And I have no idea how good this works, if it works, I don't know. But I figured it wouldn't hurt just to sprinkle it around this area. I did buy 4 of these, and I'll probably scout them around the property. But we're definitely going to fill in this area, because we do not want this to be rattlesnake, the Rattlesnake Hotel. And I did catch back on one of the trails back here. I caught, man, there was a big one back there a couple days ago, like a 3-footer, huge. So, but that's not the ones I'm worried about. I'm worried about those little ones, the babies that can get in here, because they're actually the most dangerous. So anyway, so we've got that done, right? We did get all of that finished. Who knows? I'll probably still add on to this stuff later on. One of the things too that we did put in here is aloe vera. It's a lot of bees and insects and bites and scrapes. So, you know, you can kind of go out here and get some of that if you have to. So we did put some new plants together, some rosemaries. I've heard that the mice don't like that. So it smells kind of good. So we hooked up some rosemary and these evergreens. I don't know what these are. And here's our deck, which was falling apart before. And it already has footprints on here, which is Sammy's footprints, of course, because Sammy goes out in the dirt and comes out here. But we did finish it. It's super sturdy now. And we used a color called Pine Cone Brown, I think it is, from Lowe's. I think it's called Pine Cone. I think it is. But it really is close to the color of treated wood. It's real close to it. I matched it up the best I could. And it looks real nice. It has a little bit of hint of warmness to it. And yeah, man. It looks really good. The floor, which I thought we were going to have to pull those out, those boards, we're able to save it. So definitely like that. And I'll come up here. Like I said, we used to, remember I was telling you, man, we rounded those edges and it's super good. So I would definitely recommend rounding your edges on your steps, and also rounding your handles, like right here. Man, that feels so much better than what was here before, which was really sharp. And now it's all smooth. So that's really nice. Walking up here and not feeling the whole thing shake is a big improvement. But there it is, man. That is our deck. We have one more project I'll show you guys we're going to do. Let me show you real quick, because we are going to do one more thing before we go home tonight. It seems like every time we come up here, dude, we got a project, right? Look at this thing, dude. Dude, wouldn't that be cool to have? Look at that. You can see the lake. Look, see the lake? You can see back there. So he has a killer view for the lake, man. It's so good. All right, so what we're going to do here is I bought some of these, and I hope it doesn't look bad. You guys can tell me if it's a bad idea, but they have these huge outdoor roller shades, and we are going to put them on here because it gets pretty hot in the summer, and hopefully that'll give us some shade. So let's get that on there and let's see if it looks good. They had 2 colors. They had Pebble, which is this, which I hope doesn't look pink. And then they had like a dark brown, which I was like, I don't know if I want dark brown up here, but we'll see. I'm going to go with the pink, and if it doesn't look good, maybe we'll go dark brown. Yay. All right, so let's get it started. Hopefully I have enough daylight to get it done and see if that's a mistake. All right. Well, here it is, man, our final to it. I kind of like it. It looks really clean, and definitely going to stop that sun from coming in the summertime on the trailer part of the cabin. And so there you go, man. This is the Pebble. They have 2 colors. They have the dark color and the Pebble. I'm stoked on with the Pebble because it matches the trailer. So, woo! There it is. Another weekend at the cabin. The solar lights are coming on. You know what that means. It means it's time to pack it up. But anyway, thanks for watching another episode at the cabin. We're always doing stuff here. We got Sammy here, still in the show.
But anyway, thanks for watching. This is Billy at UW.